And last but not least, let's talk about Transformers 1, right? And in this case, we'll keep things as spoiler-free as possible. We may mention a couple minor spoilers here or there, but now I really want to keep things as spoiler-free as possible, right? So, well, Ricardo, if you don't mind, I want you to do the synopsis for this, right? But
Sure.
yeah, when it comes to Transformers, I mean, we actually did a retrospect review of the first, or I should say, 2007 Transformers movie, the live action one, which I still think really holds up, and it's really enjoyable as far as like just live action Transformers movies goes, right? And then of course, there was the one from last year, Rise of the Beast, which was solid. It was
Which I
really
like.
solid
Yeah.
entertainment. And just of course just leaning into 90s hip hop, so I was loving the hell out of that, right?
Yeah.
But in no way, and I have to say this right early on, in no way would I call myself like a diehard Transformers fan, right? Like, I mean, I grew up on Beast Wars. I saw the G1 series, in the 90s when it was on Channel 4 and whatnot. But I say this because like I never like I don't know all the lore and all the characters and all that kind of stuff, right? So I just go into Transformers just to be entertained, right? And I get that, right?
Yeah.
Especially like when it comes to, and I'll bring this up too with this movie. I'll have to might as well mention now, yeah, especially with the 1986 movie, right? The Transformers movie, right? Yes, which I will not call a masterpiece as far as like 80s animation goes, but as far as like continuing a story and putting it in theaters and just raising the stakes as far as what we know and what we expect from the Transformers franchise, yeah, that movie absolutely delivers. Right? Like they literally had the goal to say, here's what we're gonna kill Optimus Prime gen and literally scar a whole generation gen. But it wasn't like done mean spirited like that. It was just like, no, we have to further the story, and that's exactly what they did, right? And yeah, you know what I mean, they just knocked out the park with that. Still, as again, not a masterpiece in my opinion, but a pure cult classic in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
And I know like that is what they were, that is what the team behind this new movie were leading towards, right? Because yes, I'll let just to get out of the way, this is the first humanless Transformers movie I would say we've ever seen. Not series, right? Because I think there was, well, I mean, there was Beast Wars and there was that one
Right.
Transformers show on Netflix, and some other cartoons over the years and whatnot, right? But as far as a movie goes, this is the first humanless one. Because if you remember from the '86 movie, there was a kid, there was a
Right.
kid there, so that counts, right? So yeah, but this is the first one without humans, right? And I've seen this too because I know that was always the gripe when it came to die-hard fans, especially when they saw what Michael Bay was doing. Like, we don't care about Sam Witwicky, we just want to see Transformers and the law, man,
Right.
all that kind of stuff, right? The law, man, that's what it was. So yeah, we finally get it, right? We finally get it with this, but how they play out, we'll see. But Ricardo, take it away. And I guess you can mention, yeah, how you feel about the franchise or just the incarnations of the franchise and leading up to this.
Right. So yeah. So this one is based on two characters who are friends. This is Orion Pax and D16, and basically the two of them just kind of working as kind of, well, effectively miners. These kind of low level worker drones in the planet of Cybertron. I forget the name of the city they in. Forget. But they working under Elita 1, and it's just them. It's a class system, right? You have a higher structure of power and a lower structure of power, and you learn why this is maintained and so on. So, and the two of them basically is run by the entire conceit of this guy called Sentinel Prime, and he plays on that aspect of them, and then the two of them get into some trouble with respect to a race, and everything pulls from there and builds on that whole concept. It's good. This show is actually really, really cool. Chris Hemsworth and Brian Tyree Henry bounce off each other quite well. I can't say I loved it, but I liked it. I liked it enough. It's it pulls a lot from Transformers Prime. If you remember that was in 2010, I think. Or 2000.
Oh right, I never
Yeah.
I never watched that show. So
Yeah, it feels a lot like that.
Okay.
It feels like there's a high budget to it, but it set up a really decent story and characters. It felt like a really well made, solid pilot. like an extended pilot for a new show. In that sense, it felt like that. It just introduced a bunch of great characters, set up that really well. I would say the only thing that slightly pulls it down, for me, is the voice acting. It's good, but it's it's mediocre stuff from the MCU actors, especially. It feels like Chris Pratt and Mario. Like, it's not the worst thing ever, but I feel like I get better people for this. I don't know. That's just a small, minor problem I had with it. That was about it. But everything else was good. What it does well, it really, really sets up that world and the recontextualization of the narrative, especially why they call Autobots. I like that. That's clever. Why, what the reason for the fight is. They set up a nice, interesting and engaging conflict, when all is said and done. And it's straightforward. It clearly skewing younger, but it's straightforward. And yeah, I'll go as far as saying that this did for Transformers what Mutant Mayhem did for the TMNT franchise last year. Just nothing too clever or original, but just a nice, refreshing update and reset to the material, and relevant, right? Relevant take on the material. Just smart update, and that's it. I can't be mad at anything here. Now I don't think this is a masterpiece or anything like that, but it's just good, like good, competent storytelling. It builds the characters well. Good action. How they move that camera around and make it really work. The action's great. And then, for CG, the animation is like really good. Like, I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, because I was watching the trailer and I wasn't too impressed. But like, when you see the final product, it's like, nah, they really come together with this. The action is great. It's clear. It really feels like how that opening sequence of Bumblebee was. There's that. And yeah, I dug the hell out of this. I mean, if you introduce it, this would be perfect for like anybody introducing to the material. And they just make a simple, straightforward story. It's simple, but also surprisingly complex in terms of like what the actual argument is at the when everything was resolved and the ending of it. That final conflict. And that final, not only emotional conflict, but ideological conflict, like how the result of this is, it works, and it really comes together really well. I really, really dug the hell out of this.
All right, so hear me out here, folks. Right, hear me out, right? As a Transformers movie, and I'm talking about from what we've seen from since '86 to now, this is the best that I've seen. Like, period, right? Period. Again, this is a Transformers movie, so by Transformers standards and what you expect from one, this is the best that I've seen, right? Because for me, right, when it came to the movies, even especially the '86 one, right, I like, because I didn't grow up, like I like, when that movie came out, I was like 2, right? So like it's only like when I reached like what 8 or 10, that's when I actually saw Transformers. And I mean, like, I wasn't around any time when it was big, right? So I'm saying this because I know that there are people who like they owe a lot of their childhood to Transformers, and it means so much to them, right? Playing with them, playing either Autobot or Decepticon or whatever it is, it means a lot to them, right? So I mean, I could understand when they saw even the first one, when they saw Michael Bay's films and was thinking, wow, this guy is like taking the shit over our childhood, right? What is this? This does not have the essence or the feel of that of Transformers as a whole, right?
Right.
This one felt like the essence was there, like it was tapping into the essence, what it was all about, right? And I like that they do it very thematically about being able to transform yourself into someone better, right? Yes, it skews young, but it's a very, very strong and powerful message, right? I love how it plays out with our 2 leads as well, right? And yeah, with this show, you really felt like this is why people love this so much. This is why people take this lore seriously, right? Because yes, it is easy for us to look at this as it's just art to sell toys, that's what it is, they're just toys, man. Like, it's nothing for you to take seriously, right? And while this show doesn't take itself too seriously, right? Because I mean, it is a mostly fun, popcorn film, right? When it got to the moments involving just the 2 leads themselves, right? Orion and D16, right? And here's the thing, like many of us, when we saw that first trailer, which for some weird reason they launched it from space, like literally did. Like, if you look it up, you'll see that it was weird, but whatever. Yeah. When we first saw, I was like, okay, they're doing this. But what really roped me in was, it wasn't just the buddy cop thing. We're gonna see the beginning, like how Orion becomes Optimus and how T16 becomes Megatron. That's why I went in for, right? And the fear I had was like, it's gonna be a kids thing, it's gonna be comedic, so they're not gonna take that seriously. It's just gonna be a little slightly dramatic moment, and it could be a little jokey in the end and whatnot, right?
Right.
But when things really turned dark and serious way, that's when I was roped in. And I was like shocked that they really went there. Mind you, it is not Optimus dying level seriousness like in Transformers, the movie from '86, right? But it is two friends who believe something and now they see the reality of it, right? I like how visually it is expressed though with the character. I'm not going to say who, the antagonist of it, and how we usually associate a character who looks like that and the name of it, and how they flip it around to say, nah, in this case, he's the villain, right? I was like, okay, this show really cooking here, right? But when you saw, I mean, we know it is, where we see the early transformation, if you will, of Megatron becoming who he is, Dread. That's when I was like roped in, right? And I love that this is like the first time, I believe this is the first time, again, I don't know the law, where, you're given a legit reason why. Not just why Megatron is the way he is, but why, I said on Facebook, he was right. He was right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was in the comics.
Okay.
Comics of some comics, and then I think, and then this was in Transformers Prime.
All right.
This was a big aspect of Transformers Prime. So it's like, or at least some of it, kind of.
All right. Yeah. Well, I will admit that I didn't know that some film or some comic or some show or something would have revealed why Megatron became who he was, right? But it's just like on paper, when you associate, these toys and whatnot, you're not thinking about, this is how he became that way. It's just a good.
No, that's the thing. The original G1 stuff was just like Megatron just awesome. They never really get into that. And even the movies never really flesh it out as well as they could.
Exactly.
The live action movies. So it was that.
Yeah.
But they make it work for. But this gave her like a legit good reason. We understand why and how. And he completely it's one of those Killmonger scenarios, right? You completely understand, as the kids say, a justifiable crash out.
That's it.
Why he was. Why he was the way he was, and what they make it work with, and this a slight spoiler, but there's the idea of how you respond to power when you find out a certain thing, what quote unquote, how you respond to your own quote unquote radicalization.
Yes.
Both characters, Optimus, Orion and D16, are radicalized because they saw something.
Mm-hmm.
A piece of information was revealed to them. And who was that old guy? That was Lawrence Fishburne, right? Who was the voice for them?
It was. It's Lawrence. It's Lawrence.
Yeah, right.
Also,
It's sounding familiar. I was trying to peg it. I was like, it sounded like Morpheus, but I didn't see the name, whatever.
Also, slight spoiler with him, right? I do like, again, going back to character design, right? Character design for this is great, right? Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne character, even though he is good, he looks like a Decepticon. He kind of looks like one.
Right.
He kind of looks like Megatron with the gray and the sort of helmet on the
exactly.
He
Right.
has that look, right? But I like how it's a contrast to who the real villain is. That's all you'll say. That's anything, right? So there's those little moments, though. Those little decisions, creative decisions, I love, right? But I made the joke on Facebook. Megatron was right. Like I why he feels the way and why he reacts the way he does. Right?
It's a very relevant reset to the material in that sense, because like right now we kind of going through that, like in terms of how people talk about politics right now, especially with you have a certain election coming up, right? And it's just basically the core argument of revolution versus reform, right? And how you feel about it, and as the kids say, a somewhat relevant crash out, right? A somewhat justifiable crash out. Like you could understand why this dude had the meltdown he did, and it's real hard to tell him no, right? You just have to just say, look, you have to chill out and cool down now. Here's why. And, you totally understand the clash. And it's a great beat. It's a lot stronger, very strong emotional beat, because the two of them were friends.
Yes.
And they were strong, close friends. You understand why both of them bounced off each other. Right, and they make it work. And as I said, I didn't love the voice acting. I thought it was pretty underwhelming. Okay. They started off okay, but like coming on to the end of the film, they just sounded like themselves, especially Chris Hemsworth. And I was really underwhelmed with him. Brian Tyree Henry is better. Like he's not half bad, but still, kind of underwhelming.
Yeah.
For 2 seconds there, I thought Scarlett Johansson. I thought Scarlett Johansson was Melissa Fomero. I swear that was Melissa Fomero. I watch it, I listen to she and it's like, it sounded like Amy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine now. And it's like, no, this is Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
But yeah, about the voice acting though, I think, okay, so yes, we could quarrel for days about if Chris Hemsworth should have been the show or not, right? But I do like how he grows into the character of who would eventually become Optimus Prime, right? So he's not like doing a Peter Cullen impersonation at the end.
Right.
Sounds
Ultimately,
like he is trying to capture that sort of inflection. I like that. I like that.
Ultimately, I'm glad. Ultimately, I'm glad he don't try to rip off Peter Cullen. Don't try to do that. It won't have work at all.
Yeah.
But look, Peter Cullen getting kind of old. A certain great voice actor passed the other day.
That's true.
So this could happen too. Another person famous for the voice just passed. James Earl Jones, R.I.P.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, I'm glad that they're trying to move on with Peter Cullen. I just wish that they got a better voice actor. And sorry to say it, but Chris Hemsworth is not a voice actor. It really feels like Chris Pratt thing. Like they just jump in, they get a good agent, and they get a bag. It really feels like that. But they cater for the mediocrity. Sorry to say it. Yeah. I straight up think he was pretty mediocre in this.
Right.
Again, Brian Tyree Henry.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. As I say, Brian Tyree Henry's a little better, especially with involving a certain post-credit sequence. He sounded great there.
Yeah.
With that. And because Megatron was replaced a long time ago, because I think it was Hugo Weaving was Megatron in the live action, right?
Yeah.
Who was
and I can't remember who he was replaced with. I didn't really care.
I forget the original voice actor. Yeah. But the original voice actor is a classic. I forget his name.
But I forgot the name too. Yeah.
But the ending, he was a little better, but that's about it. Again, only a minor complaint. It's not a big deal because they find it's serviceable.
Right.
It's that.
So that's few things here, and then we wrap up, right? So yeah, I thought voice acting was decent, right? Everybody, it was serviceable. They did what they had to do. Even Scarlett Johansson, I mean, I know why she did, because she have a really hot voice. Well, she really have a
she was
really
fine
nice
too.
voice.
She was
fine for what was what, right? Keegan-Michael Key. Yeah, he bring the humor as Bumblebee. The whole Badassatron joke was kind of run to the ground. But I like that
it's for kids. That's why I don't worry about it, because it's catering for kids. It's fine.
But it's a nice joke because he talks too much, and if you remember, like from what we know with the live action stuff, it's like, that's what he's going for, right? Okay, I get, right?
But that's the thing. The Bumblebee, even in the old cartoon, Bumblebee talked a lot. That's why I find that bit in the live action material don't make any sense to me. Like, what was the joke here? Whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brian Tyree, I thought crushed it with his performance though. Gradual, but then when he gets really intense now, especially in the final act, though, it's like, yes, I'm feeling it, right? Yes, I'm hearing Brian, but I never hear him play a villain or an anti-hero before, right? And it's like, wow, this like the man really get to me, right? And yes, those moments near the end, boy, really, really got to me. And it's just, I was just more surprised though. I was just like, I did not think they were going to hit that hard emotionally though, because I thought, it's for kids.
Right.
Like, no. And I love this. That's why I love the show so much, though, is that it never lost sight of the material and what it means, what it meant to people and what it means now, right? So it doesn't dumb it down, it doesn't water it down. Yes, it's presented in a tasteful way that kids and families could tune in and enjoy it, and I could see the diehard fans loving it. Also, this off the cuff, I was hoping, when I came home after watching this, I looked at Movie Bob's review. I know he's a man who hate Michael Bay Transformers movie. I was hoping that he would have enjoyed that. Yeah, he enjoyed it. I thought he would have given that 10 out of 10.
Right.
But I was like, yes, the man loved it. He enjoyed it. Yes, that's what I want. Because I know he's a diehard fan, right? And then while I was watching the show, I was like, yes, this show is for men like him. It's for fans like him who felt let down that, like Hollywood or at least the studios and them was like, no, we can't tell a story that's just based in Cybertron, and we had to put.
No, as I said, with the live action films, with the live action films, it's a shame. Look, at the end of the day, Michael Bay still dominates the franchise. I think Bay Films or Bayhem Films is still controlling this on a production level.
Yeah, he's still a producer of the show. He's a producer of the show.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's still there. But the thing is, look, at the end of the day, he make the most money, right? I mean, the third film crossed $1 billion, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So you can't tell him nothing. In my humble opinion, he just should not have done 4 and 5. Okay. That was a mistake. But if we got Bumblebee,
it's the worst film of the decade, in my opinion.
Yeah, because if we got Bumblebee or something like Bumblebee, in the point in time when 4 came out, then that would have reset the franchise for the live action material really well.
Yeah,
because Bumblebee,
we didn't need Mark Wahlberg, dog. Like,
exactly. But the thing is that Bumblebee came too late. That was the problem. So all of the energy dropped and it just didn't make money. And then, well, the new one, which I like a lot too, I don't like it as much as Bumblebee, but I liked it a lot as well. Again, just came too little, too late. So like the energy gone now. But if we got it at the time of 4, it would have been, the franchise would have recovered, it would have been fine. We would have just be like, yeah, we would have shit on Michael Bay, but he making money now.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it really came across like he just kind of just say, look, he don't want nobody do this better than him. And so he just kind of, it really felt like a kind of almost borderline sabotage in that sense. And so he just kind of poisoned the well for any future people taking up the mantle now. It really came across like that, especially with Bumblebee. Because Bumblebee was great. Like, it was really solid storytelling now. But moving on.
All right,
this is a proper reset.
All right, so that's last few points and then we'll wrap up, right? Yeah, so I mean voice acting serviceable, but like the 2 leads, especially where the characters went to, I really felt that, right? Especially when they became who we know them as, right? But yeah, that third act just blew me away, Dre. Like, I was just so moved emotionally, Dre, and no Transformers movie ever moved me the way it did. Not even Optimus's death in the 86 film moved me as much as seeing these 2 friends split and become who they're destined to be, right? And it just felt so theatric though, but it just totally works, right?
Yeah.
And then you know how it ends, where both characters have the final moment. Well, in particular, Megatron has the post-credit scene. Yeah, that post-credit scene actually worked for me though. Just the mere fact that, again, we're not dumbing it down because kids watching. It's like, yes, this is the world of Transformers. This is the story we're telling, this is the lore. We want to keep it like that, right? So it's not like too blatant and too, mean-spirited, but it's like, yeah, that's the material. Sorry, that's what it is, right?
Right.
I agree with you. The animation looks great, especially I see it on big screen. It looks fantastic in my opinion, though. That art style, right?
Yeah.
And just the way how the story is told and paced really worked for me. I like how they just built the story. Just took the time. They give it the humor and whatnot, and not all the humor lands, but that's fine though. Because, I mean, again, kids, right? But there was enough material to keep, folks like me engaged and on board, right? Even in the lighter moments, so I was on board, right? And this last point I did, and then I'll get, 2 things before I get to it, right? So one, there was one voice actor that I wasn't sure was going to work though. Steve Buscemi, right? He was good. What did it do with him though? And the character he plays, we're not going to say who it is, right? I was like, okay, that's why they pick him. All right, that works, right? What we say this a little hint is a callback to the original, to the G1 show. But then something happens to him. And then what we'll say is that his voice changes a bit. And that's where you hear it's like, all right, sure. All they're thinking.
Yeah, I thought it would have been like, again, it's very similar. It really reminded me of the Mario movie in some ways, right? Where, you get MCU actors to do a role, and then they get a bunch of comedy actors to do other roles. I really thought it would have been like the Fred Armisen Cranky Kong thing now, which I kind of thought was kind of underwhelming. Right, but I thought it would have been that. It's like, you get kind of, not really stunt casting, but somebody who have a jokey voice kind of thing to do a role. And it's like, all right, it's making sense on paper, but then when they actually do the actual result, again, I thought Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong in the Mario movie was I didn't like him at all. But this was great. Like this lined up so well what they did with Steve Buscemi in this. I was like, oh right, they nailed it here. That was actually one of the stronger voice moments.
Yes.
But for me, it was really the 2 best people to me was I didn't expect to enjoy John Hamm as much as I did.
Oh, right, yes. Who plays Sentinel Prime?
Prime. I thought he was great. And then Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne was great.
Boy, dude, that Larry voice, hard. Again, he had the theater arts background, boy, that gave me chills, especially when he gave them the sparks. It's like, ooh, I feel that, right? Right, so that's something else I was going to say. Right, so it's only after the fact I realized that Josh Cooley directed this thread. If you remember, he is, a Pixar director and screenwriter. So he worked on Toy Story 4 and he co-wrote Inside Out. I was like, that makes sense because there's so much thought that put into the show there. So it's not just references for the sake of it, but it works.
Yeah, very Pixar done. Like as
Yeah.
in you cater to kids, but you make it deep and smart and interesting. Yeah. So it's not that big of a surprise. I don't know who the director was. I don't look it up.
Yeah. It's only after the fact I had to look it up. It's like, oh, you do that. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And one more thing. I can't believe I've seen this. But you heard it from me, right? Boy, let me just call this the song, right? The song for the movie, right? Just like how 2007 Transformers had What I've Done. This one song, which is called If I Fall, right? This features Quavo, Ty Dolla $ign, and Brian Tyler, who is the one who did the score for this. So Brian Tyler is the guy who does the hook, and he plays guitars and.
No, they learn from Turtles. They learn from Turtles. They learn from Spider-Verse. They learn from Turtles and they learn from Spider-Verse.
Especially Spider-Verse.
Get modern people to do the material.
Yeah, especially Spider-Verse, because I saw that Metro Boomin vibe for this, right? Even though Metro Boomin did produce this song, right? Boy, when that song play for the end credits, boy, I get chills, That was so hard, Hus. I was like, Quavo talking about Optimus, like he do that rhyme and he's talking about Optimus Prime and thing. Yeah. But it went so hard, Hus. I stick around for the entire thing just to hear that song play. And I get chills, man. Like, Hus, I hear that fucking Quavo. I hear Quavo and Ty Dolla $ign on a Transformers soundtrack, and it sounded real hard, Hus. And in the context of what we saw, it's like, what? This had, you know what I mean? So, just long story short, though, this had to be one of the biggest surprises of the year for me, boy, because I just went in thinking, oh yeah, this is gonna be fun, kiddie friendly Transformer stuff, but I don't know how that Megatron and Optimus Prime thing gonna play out to do. And that played out superbly. That played out way better than I expected, Jed. And that just elevated the show to a whole new level for me, right? But just the build up to it, and just the references, and just the storytelling, and just attention to detail, though, and all that stuff really, really worked, right? And yeah, it just made for, in my opinion, the best Transformers film I've seen, right? Which, again, is not really saying much because, it's Transformers, right? You get what you get, right? But just the effort, though, is really what surprised me for this, right? So yeah, for me, this is one of the best animated shows I've seen this year. And it's funny I say that too, because in the next week we get the Wild Robot, and already have a slot on my top 10 list for that. Right. Getting great things about that. So yeah, we kind of get two great films, animated films about robots, boy. But plus, a Transformers movie actually gonna make it in my best of list. I can't believe we're here. I can't believe we are actually seeing this, right? It worked, boy. It just, but at the end of the day, really why I love it so much, though, it just tapped into the essence of the franchise, of the story. Why do the fans that, oh, it's toys, why are you making a big deal about Michael Bay movies for? No, this one felt like this is why they love it so much. This is why this franchise has stood, I don't want to say test of time, but this is why this franchise still holds up to this day, right? And yeah, I know they're gonna make, like a TV show out of it, similar to like what they did with Mutant Mayhem. But yeah, like, the characters, though, still matter. They're still relevant, though. Like, imagine that, right? Mm-hmm. They're just 80s toys that,
I actually hope we get a TV series extension the same way they do with Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah, because I will be there for
Mutant Mayhem. I didn't talk about it in my review, but the final fight in Mutant Mayhem, where they fight against a goldfish. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
That bring out all the money for that. Mm-hmm, you watch that?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Go watch that fight, John. Yep. That fight's so goated, eh?
Yeah.
I like fucking hell, dude. Yeah. And I hope we get something like that, Judd. Yeah, and my thing is that, look, we live in this very precarious age for a lot of animators, especially. And yeah, people need work. Like, I really, really want to see just good, talented people get, a job and just make it work now. Just make it, all this AI bullshit, all of that, right? Just, good, talented people coming together to just make a good story and make it work. I really, really, I actually really want them to do that, to be honest. Like, just build on this story, do something with it, and make a TV series. Obviously, production-wise, it won't look as good as the movie, but it's still just a good, solid product on its own. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
Right. So yeah, for me, strong 4 to 5, boy. One of the best films I've seen all year, right? But again, this is a Transformers movie, so if you do, let me just make it clear, right? If you just don't care about the franchise, don't watch it. It won't do anything for you, right? If you like it, like if you like certain films and certain cartoons, like you like the 86, like the 2007 one, see it, right? Because it will cater to those fans as well, right?
Right.
But really, for me, who I see will enjoy this way more than the kids do, are the fans themselves, the ones who loved the Transformers from since they were put into existence, right? The ones who again complain about Michael Bay's films and whatnot. I know they're the ones who should, I should say, absolutely love this movie. I know there'll probably be those who just be like, nah. I holding on to the 80s G11. That's for me, and that's fine if you like that one. That's cool, right? But in terms of just like introducing this franchise to like bringing it to a brand new generation, but really harkening back to like really going back to the essence, to the roots of things, and yeah, just kind of showing why this franchise has literally lasted for so long, like over 40 years. Yeah, this movie delivered, boy, and more. Absolutely love this film. So yeah, your final thoughts are rated.
Yeah. As I said, it just did a nice, refreshing update and relevant reset to the material. I can't say in good conscience I super loved it because again, I too old and cynical. My heart is black, blah blah blah. But if you're a younger person, I think you'll totally love this, and it totally makes it work for what it is. It's really excellent stuff. It comes together really well. Simple storytelling, but complex endpoint. It don't have a simple answer to the question. You totally understand both positions. You totally sympathize with both positions. They make it work, and it comes together really well. Rating, yeah, I get it's like an 8 out of 10, a very high 8 though, like like closer to a 9 if anything. And I'm sure if I give it a rewatch, it'll probably get a higher score, to be honest. But I just thought this was excellent. Yeah, I give it like a 8, closer to a 9. Really solid stuff. I want to see more from this universe. I hope it gets a sequel. I hope they build from it. I hope it make money. And I hope it does well. Yeah,
I hear that it is right now, but I hope that it makes just as much as a Michael Bay film. Like it would be great if it make that level, just say it. Yeah.